Hey guys, we're here at my friend Chris Sanders' house and we're just trying to do something a little bit new. We're going to do kind of a rolling interview or talk, or I don't know what you call it, but we're just going to go for a ride and just talk about his experience on the bike. And let me text Chris and we'll go for a ride. I'll hold the door for you. Good morning.
Good morning, Chris. How are you? I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good to see you. So this is Chris Sanders.
Hi, everybody.
You live here in Harlem. What area of Harlem is this considered?
This is considered Sugar Hill area of Harlem.
Why do they call it Sugar Hill?
I don't actually know why they call it.
They made a movie about it, right?
I don't know why they call it Sugar Hill.
And the movie was, who was that in that? Wesley Snipes and did you see that movie? All right, this is starting off bad. All right, we're gonna have some fun today, though. There's a lot of interesting things going on here.
Absolutely. There's all these new restaurants and coffee shops, and all 4 trains come to this spot in Sugar Hill. It makes it easy to transport myself around, and then also you have the park right across the street, which is beautiful.
I like it. I mean, it was a nice ride up. I think it was like 11 miles from Dumbo, where I was coming from. But let's talk on a bike. Well, actually, you got the Gazelle Medeo T10 Plus?
Yes, I did. I love this bike. It's beautiful. It's got this beautiful nylon display. I went ahead and got panniers because I don't always like to carry things on my back.
Yeah.
Also, beautiful fenders, Bosch system, so.
And let's check out our ride. Tara and I. You guys don't know, Tara's behind the camera. Let me. Tara's got headphones on. We're gonna see if we can make this happen, but here we go.
I can take the headphones off.
Yeah, you can.
Hello.
Yeah, you can. So this is our ride. This is the Load 75. Tara's gonna sit up front, and she's gonna kind of do her best to film both of us. So Chris, what do you think? We're gonna just go kind of down Manhattan. You said you usually hang out in like Hell's Kitchen, Chelsea area.
If I'm not in Harlem, on Broadway somewhere, I'm usually in Hell's Kitchen or Chelsea. They have all these coffee shops there, which I love. So maybe we can go to one of them.
Let's do it. I know that this is not a normal day for you. You're technically on vacation right now, but I guess you also technically are working from home these days.
Correct.
So
correct.
All right. I should turn the bike on. That'd be a good idea. Chris, you got the real Dutch upright riding position here. So, some people talk about like riding in that position, you have a lot more visibility. It's easier to kind of look around. Like when you're down like this, it's going to be more difficult to turn your head. The Dutch might have it right in that regard, I think they got a couple of things right. I guess the Dutch designed a lot of New York City.
Oh, yeah, New Amsterdam. And that's why it's going to be cycling friendly, more cycling friendly.
Do you usually ride to the park? You usually ride on the west side?
I usually ride on the west side. It's just faster.
What's the deal with the park? Why is the west side faster?
No stoplights.
Okay. They have them, but sometimes people don't stop at them. Do you stop at them? You're under pressure right now.
Oh, well, I always stop at stoplights, but on the west side, they don't have as many as if I was to go.
But when you
Central
encounter
Park.
them, though, do you stop at them?
Absolutely.
All the time?
Always. When it makes sense to stop, I stop.
Oh, whoa. That story sounds a little bit different than always. I don't know.
Next slide.
Have you heard of the Idaho stop?
Yeah, I have
right
heard
here?
of the Idaho stop. I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah.
It allows you to decide when is the safest for you to proceed.
And a lot of places are starting to adopt that, though. You heard about that?
Yes, I see California is looking at it. New York has been looking into it.
Yeah. Okay, so San Antonio, you grew up in San Antonio. What's San Antonio known for? I know they got the big arena there. It's kind of like historic.
Oh, the Spurs, the Riverwalk,
The Riverwalk,
Alamo.
The Alamo. The Alamo's a big one, right?
They used to brag. I used to ride the bus to school, to college, and they would brag about how good their bus system was compared to the rest of Texas.
Compared to the rest of Texas, well, what do you think, like a place like New York or?
I feel like the buses here in New York are way they run a lot more often and to more places. Yeah, New York, I mean, it's no comparison.
Now, do you own a car?
No, I did, but then I hated owning a car in New York. And so I got rid of it, even though I love to drive. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love to drive.
It's just not practical.
Not for a city like New York.
You consider yourself a smart guy?
Sure, yeah.
I think he's actually a really smart guy. He's a software engineer, but I guess that's not the only reason why I think you're a smart guy. But that's sometimes just what it is. It's not like I love a bike or I love a car or whatever. It's just like this makes more sense sometimes.
You know, I'm looking at New York. It's got the subway. It's faster, less stressful, and so that's why I prefer it. And I prefer bikes to the subway, but again, because it's faster.
What impacts your decision on what mode of travel you're going to use? Because you use the bike, you use the train sometimes. Maybe sometimes you use Uber or whatever. Or
I feel like you do whatever makes sense for you at the time. And for me, and in New York City, biking makes sense.
when it comes from that place, it changes things, because I think a lot of people want to do things for noble reasons, but a lot of times we end up just doing things just because they make sense, because it's convenient, because it's easy, it's comfortable, maybe it's healthy. Sometimes we make decisions because they're not healthy, but like, I think that's the interesting thing in New York, where, you know, with the bike infrastructure and, you know, the more or less like support for biking, it becomes more and more convenient. I mean, not to mention that the traffic and parking is just horrible in New York. So
yeah, as you can see, all these cars sitting
yeah,
here
and
on
look
the
at all
side.
the cars double parked and everything like that. It's just that.
The police on the sidewalk.
Yeah. So you kind of initially got introduced to Propel through our videos and stuff like that.
Correct.
What was that for you? You were just kind of researching e-bikes. You were like, hey, what was the deal there?
Oh, well, I wanted to learn more about the e-bikes, and one of my coworkers was like really suggesting I buy an e-bike. I bought a scooter at Costco, I think.
You say it like a dirty word.
Well, no, it's not a dirty word. You know, it's useful. Like, they had a scooter for like $400 on sale, 9 baht. And so I bought one. You know, it worked great, and all the bikes were passing me up.
Because for those of you who don't know, it's hilly in San Francisco. It's kind of known for the hills, right?
So yeah, I started off with a scooter. I bought a Specialized bike. My friends at work were like, you should really look into an e-bike, blah, blah, blah. You know, one of my friends, he was like, you just got to try it and then you'll be sold. And that's exactly what happened.
I've been thinking a lot about how the bike kind of helps connect us to the community, helps us to feel more connected, maybe even helps us to feel more connected to our health. And all that, I feel like it impacts like every aspect of our life. And I'm just wondering, like, what's your thoughts about that? Have you ever thought about that? Like, how you being out here, you know, riding a bike, do you feel like you make more connections to people? Do you feel like more connected to the people around you?
I think so. And, you know, when everybody's being polarized, you know, it's hard to polarize the person right next to you.
That's a big challenge right now, right? I mean, that's a big deal right now. It's a lot more likely if we're all locked away by ourselves. It's so easy to say this person, this, and make all these judgments about people, but if they're right next to you, it's a different thing, right?
They're real people, and so you think twice about it when it's like, oh, this is a real person, and you know, they're not my enemy.
I think you build on that connection, right? Like the Dalai Lama says that like everyone could connect on the basic level that we're human and that we want to be happy. And so from there you can build on other things like, hey, we're both into bikes.
Yeah, you can find commonalities. I met some guy the other day. He was riding so fast, and I was
And
like...
we're going up a hill, by the way, right now. You may or may not notice, but this is a relatively large hill, but we're holding it together pretty well thanks to the e-bike system.
I mean, yeah, that's what it's for. It's for hills like these. He's a network engineer, which is heavily related.
But how did you guys meet, though? Like, really, what's the story there?
We were talking, and we got to the stoplight, and he's like, oh, I'm trying to get past all these e-bikes. And I was like, oh, well, technically this Specialized Turbo Creo is an e-bike. Which I use sometimes because it's super light, but I use my Gazelle mostly for like commuting, and I feel guilty for loving riding this thing so much.
I mean, there's different tools for different jobs. Could you ever see that interaction actually happen with the automobile?
No,
Like,
it
hey,
can't.
man, I'm trying to pass these pickup
on the
trucks,
window.
you know? Oh, I didn't know that that pickup truck's actually a car. Oh, yeah, it is, you know, but whatever, blah, blah, blah. We're having this, you know, start to have this conversation and this and that. It's like, just doesn't happen. It doesn't even happen on the subway. I don't know about the subway. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's this kind of unwritten rule that you're not supposed to talk to people on the subway.
Or look at people on the subway.
You can't look at people, you can't talk to them. You just gotta like sit there quietly. You gotta be on their phone or look at the ground or look at the advertisements. Maybe it's like a trick from the advertisers. Like they want you to look up at the advertisements. So like they somehow created this culture that you need to study the advertisements. You know, so at this point I have like a memory of every single advertisement that I've ever seen on a subway station. But
Well, I think it's a safety mechanism because sometimes the subway can feel unsafe currently, you know, and I don't want to say that the subway is unsafe, but you know, you have to look out for your safety and that comes first.
do you feel more safe on the bike for some reason? Or maybe you feel like you can get away a little easier.
I feel like the bike I have more
contained
control.
space in the subway, right? Like
You can't just ride off, you can't.
you can't just open the door and hop out, really.
Right.
Until the next stop at least, but. So you guys ended up like getting off the bikes and like hung out for a little bit.
Yeah, we talked for like 5 or 10 minutes.
That's really interesting. I mean, that's sort of like serendipitous moment, you know. It happens on a bike, but it really doesn't generally happen in too many other like modes of transportation. I mean, I guess it happens walking. For us to be able to be like close to each other and like somewhat vulnerable, it's like actually helps to make that connection possible, right?
Bikes connected me to being more aware of like what's going on in my city. It's easy to drive by everything, but on a bike, you kind of see everything really up close and you really get to feel the community in a way that I don't think you're feeling when you simply are driving by.
And you could go just like stop somewhere real quick. Have you ever had the experience that you're riding a bike and you see somebody and they like tell you about some event or gathering or something like that, and they're like, hey, you know, this thing's going on later or next week or whatever, you should come check it out?
On any given weekend, you'll see a whole bunch of people riding their bike and they'll be like, oh, we're just throwing a party. Like another guy with the Gazelle bike, I think he brought it from your store. Well, he saw my Gazelle bike and then we struck up a conversation right over here on 110. And he's like, every Thursday night at 7, we're riding around.
Wow. So I don't know why I didn't get invited to this party. I feel a little offended. So if you're out there, let us know. I mean, come on.
Yeah, really.
I mean, well, Chris, you didn't let me know either. So I
Oh!
thought we were friends. You know.
We are.
But I usually tell people in these scenarios, you think you're better than me? So you're a software engineer. You're not working in the office right now. What's it like for you? You primarily working from home? Are you working from coffee shops? What are you doing?
I've started going in 1 day a week. All the other days, I like to work from a coffee shop because it gives me a breather from like, I feel like sometimes when I'm at work, it's too distracting and it's more about like making the relationships. And when I'm at work, I want to focus on that as opposed to focusing on the programming. I want to focus on making relationships and understanding some of the business concerns and getting some of the questions I have answered. Whereas when I'm at the coffee shop, I'm going into programmer mode and I want to build while I sip my coffee or mocha.
Yeah. I guess in part, do you feel that you also do that to some extent because you feel a need to be connected to the community?
Yes, I like people. I love people. I'm not the normal programmer guy. I like being around a lot of people. Even if I'm focused on something, I like to be around a lot of people.
I'm kind of the same. Well, I find also I work best with other people, particularly, you know, in teams and stuff like that. Like I really enjoy working with Tara. I find it to be very helpful, and I feel like I'm able to kind of get in my like creative flow. Sometimes I need to work by myself, and you know, I think one of the things I found is that, I mean, I think everybody to some extent naturally has this somewhat like restless energy. You always have this energy going. That's why I think also to some extent like us riding bikes and having a conversation while riding bikes creates a different type of energy and a flow to like our conversation. It gives something like a little distraction to like address your like conscious mind, so you can perhaps get more into your like subconscious mind and like just speak from that. Because I mean, I guess that's also another way that we connect, if we're able to go a little bit deeper than just, you know, on the conscious level of like how we identify ourselves, or like, you know, a lot of these like superficial things in the reality, like they don't matter so much. But look at those birds over there. It's they're giving themselves like a dirt bath or something. I don't know. I'm sure somebody knows about that. Somebody like in there like belong to the Audubon Society and know about these things. Central Park dirt is good dirt. You know what I heard? That there's more species of birds that visit Central Park than any other place in the world. A lot of birds migrate, right? Most birds migrate. So you're migrating, you're going through New York City, and what happens? Going through New York City, there's no place to stop. Central Park is this big place to stop with green space, they got water, all this sort of stuff. That's where you're gonna stop.
Yeah.
So all the birds stop here. This is the main stop. This is the main train stop. This is the main bird stop.
Everybody comes to do their business here.
What do you guys think? You guys like birds? Yeah, right? Birds are great. Did you know that Central Park, they say that the most amount of species of birds exist in Central Park than anywhere in the world? She knows what's up. I think that's what I like about bikes. I think I get so into work and stuff like that I get so deep in it, and I'm just like in the zone and just like trying to get to my next like milestone or whatever the case may be. So then I like come up for air, and I just like you need some connection, right? I could, you know, call friends or family, and I do that. Maybe it's not always the opportune time, and you just, you know, but if I happen to just go out for a ride, I might end up connecting with somebody in that way, you know?
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. I like meeting random people, you know.
So you spoke about this one instance, and this just kind of came up somewhat randomly before, but do you find that happens often? Do you find that you're making a lot of connections, you know, just out and about, whether on the bike or otherwise?
I like that.
Thanks. I mean, I'll tell you, this whole camera getup is definitely a conversation starter. That's for sure.
Everyone's like, hey, camera. I really didn't understand the extent of how many connections I was making until one of my dates pointed it out to me, when random people would just start talking to me on the train because I knew them from somewhere else. They were like, wait, what the? How do you know everybody in New York?
We're getting waves here. More cameras, Tara. More cameras. I'm telling you. We'll get them. So next one, we'll have some more angles. We'll figure this one out. We're getting there little by slowly. You guys have to forgive us. We're not using all the bike infrastructure here, but I think actually one of the added benefits of the bike infrastructure is generally slows down the traffic. So it makes roads like this a little bit more pleasant, because people might be less inclined to speed. The wider the road, the more people are inclined to speed, go fast. So, you know, road design, a little detail there.
I like using the bike infrastructure, but sometimes it feels impractical. Oh, well, they did it. I mean, it check marks the box, but I feel like
it's not always a safer piece of infrastructure.
All it's doing is check marking the box.
Let's try the Hudson River path for a little bit. That'll be nice. So just straight down here?
Yeah, straight down.
Have you seen this about the Brooklyn Bridge bike lane?
I heard about it. I've been dying to see it because I will not travel on that bridge in the current conditions.
Generally speaking, if you want to ride a bike, you don't ride on the Brooklyn Bridge. That's the deal. You ride on the Manhattan Bridge, Williamsburg Bridge, 59th Street Bridge. And the challenge is, a lot of people, they don't know that the bike lanes are on one side and that the pedestrian lanes are on another side. And so they have a lot of challenges, you know, where people are mixing together. More likely the pedestrians are on the bike lane. And they're generally tourists taking pictures, this and that, and they're not really thinking about it. And then you got somebody that's in a rush to get to work, and they're like, get out of my way. So did you hear what's happening? You know what's happening? How they are planning to solve it?
Yeah, they're planning to steal a lane from cars.
It's a big deal.
I was like, I like this. You're gonna cut traffic.
So they're gonna take one car travel lane and make it a two-way bike lane. It's such a big indicator of the direction that the city's looking to go, right? Like I feel like it's a big signal to say like, hey, you know, this is a serious mode of transportation and we want to prioritize it. We're taking this seriously as a city.
Yeah, also I noticed that a lot of the city officials have been saying, oh, we want to invest more in bike infrastructure because I think it might be financially more feasible.
It's more sustainable, right? Yeah.
The only thing I worry about with it is that the parking situation is not getting the attention it deserves.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, from my side, I think what's likely to happen in New York is that many areas are going to become pedestrianized, that cars are not going to be allowed. You could see it in many places in Europe already. And I think likely a lot of these things will come to New York. It's just, I just don't think the car is feasible in most of these places.
I mean, it has its place. It's just that I feel like for New York City, everything isn't a nail, you know, when you have a hammer. And in New York City, you can get away with riding a bike a lot. Most of the time it's faster.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've driven in New York traffic, you're just sitting there.
What do you think are some of the bigger barriers right now to people riding more?
Parking. I think that's the number.
So bike parking. So when you were talking about parking, you're talking about bike parking.
I'm talking about bike parking, and you could argue that's a safety issue. Like, but you know, I've seen people have their bikes stolen. I've seen people.
Has that prohibited you from riding at times? Say you wanted to go somewhere and you're like, nah, I'm concerned about my bike getting stolen. I'm not going to ride that place.
Right. If I had a place to park, I would probably almost never take the subway. I'd still buy the subway pass just because
Just to have it.
I like to have the option available, and I don't want to have to nickel and dime. And I would be riding my bike probably 90% of the time instead of like 50% of the time.
Right. Or if you want to take the bike to the train, for example, well, you either need accommodations on the train or you need locking mechanisms at the stations, right?
At the station or around the station. Like in San Francisco, they have these bike lockers. I think in New York, they have an uni.
So that's something growing, but really it's so small at the moment. I mean, unfortunately,
yeah, they're not investing
there's one of
in
them,
it.
they're putting a second one in, but really, you know, we're talking about, we need like hundreds of these things though, right?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, there's all these empty buildings. Can you rent one and then stuff some bikes in there and put a monitor and a camera?
Oh, that's interesting. You know what? That's an interesting point. Providing bike lanes, but without bike parking is in some ways, it's kind of like favoring Citibike.
Oh, yeah, you could argue that it's privileging a business over an individual.
I mean, at the same time, I guess in a lot of ways, Citibike, they do make it an effort to make things equitable and stuff like that. And to be fair, you know, I have my own bias and reasons for wanting bike parking, like, you know, better bike parking, I'll sell more bikes, really, right? But, you know, it's part of a greater vision of seeing what the city can be with more bikes and people using them in a different way.
But the other thing is, you rather than renting a bike, you buy once and then you use it for however long you need it.
Even though the city may in some ways produce programs to make Citibike more equitable, it probably still is more economically feasible for somebody to own their own bike.
Yeah, it's economically more feasible, but I would also say that people have had their Citibikes stolen. Like, even Citibike isn't safe.
Yeah, that's fair. I'd hate to be responsible for paying for a Citibike. That is possible.
I didn't think it was possible until someone was on the New York Bike Forum on Reddit, like, hey, I just had my Citibike stolen.
Yeah. Hey, have you seen this new park over here that they built in the water?
Oh my God, that's where I took my picture of one of my first pictures of my Gazelle bike that I'm riding right now.
Oh yeah?
I took it there. I was so happy with it, and so I rode it in the middle of the night over there at like 9 or 10 in the
Can
evening.
you? We got time for a detour? Can we check this thing out?
Yeah, let's do it.
Now, what about this? This no motorbikes, e-bikes, or scooters on this path.
I don't agree with that. I mean, I know that's controversial for a lot of analog cyclists.
Do you think that that's what's driving it? Do you think the non-electric bikers are like they're advocating for it, or
Yeah,
is it?
do.
I think in a lot of instances it's like one person. Some friends of mine in Arizona actually let me know about there's a bike path called the Loop. It's in Tucson, and it's a huge loop around the city, really nice. But they recently posted on Facebook that it's illegal to ride an e-bike and that it's a class 2 misdemeanor to ride an e-bike.
Criminalizing biking?
Yeah.
Criminal.
I mean, that sign back there, I look at it like double parking. It's kind of like, yeah, it's not allowed, but it's New York, and we kind of do what we got to do,
Nobody
right?
listens to
Like,
anything in New York. They do whatever makes sense for them.
you gotta be reasonable. You know, that's New York. We just like try to be reasonable, try to figure it out, because in a city like this, you gotta get creative. There's so much bureaucracy and stuff like that. If you followed everything to a T, you'd be in a rough spot. Tara, how are you doing down there? Tara is a champ. I don't know if you guys know this right now, but Tara is holding this camera with her own 2 arms. I think that rock climbing's really coming in handy right now.
Seriously.
Sorry, bud. Thank you, sir. Look at that. That guy was very nice. You're a nice guy. Thank you. We got to check this thing out. Let's get a better view on the approach here, Tara. I don't know if we're actually going to be able to go in there unless we can get somebody to watch our bikes or something like that. We could get this guy. This guy looks like a very nice guy. He'd be down. We could just lock our bikes together and we could just go for a little walk. All right, Tara, I think we're recording here. People are wondering, you know, what do you do with these expensive bikes when you want to go to the park? You figure it out. This is New York City. So I'm like, hey, let's lock these bikes together and let's, oh, the security guy, he was hanging out here. Now he wants to leave, but I think it's okay. Chris got his frame lock on here. You guys want to see the park, I'm sure, right? I mean, I would want to see the park. Tara's got her fighter pilot headphones on, repurposed. I'm gonna hold Chris's thing here. We'll just go for a little walk. Oh, I think he's going on break. You know, I was talking to the security guard. I was like, do you need an umbrella or something? See, this guy's got the right idea. He's got an umbrella. This is the way to go. This is a smart man. I could tell you're a smart man because you got the umbrella. I was telling the other guy he needs an umbrella also. That's the way to go. And he's like, yeah, I know. We got, it's pretty cool. We got dances going on here. Chris, are you gonna get down with the dance?
Sure, why not? Oh, maybe not.
No? This is not for you?
I mean, I like dancing, but, you know, at a bar, at a club,
I don't know if I
on the beach, maybe with my shirt off.
I'm learning a little bit. So where right now, this used to be water, right? There was no land here, right? They just added this in.
This is beautiful.
I gotta say, as much as I felt relatively secure with the bikes, my heart drops always a little bit as I'm like walking out to approach the bike. And I'm like, wait, wasn't it right there? No, it's a little bit over, but they're there, so don't worry, they weren't stolen. We still got them.
We only left them there for 30 seconds.
But hey, you know, things can happen quickly here though, right?
Very, yeah, they can cut it in 30 seconds flat. I see them cut it in 30 seconds.
But that would have to mean that somebody was there waiting and prepared with the appropriate tools and everything like that. Unfortunately, it happens to be
In New York, people are prepared.
up to chance at times. There's professionals out there, I mean, really, right? That's part of the deal.
Yeah, like I locked my bike up at my gym, my Equinox gym.
So outside,
Inside.
inside. They got a spot inside at Equinox Gym. That's a good deal.
Yeah, I paid for the extra. I paid for the Lincoln Center Equinox just because it has that space there. Where
Shout out to Equinox for having inside parking for your bike. That's a big deal. So they got your money because they had bike parking.
Yeah.
How much you pay a month for a gym membership? Really putting you on the spot today.
Oh man,
Laying it all out there.
over $400.
Wait, a month?
But they wash my laundry, They give me free food, free coffee.
You know, I should have stuck with computer engineering.
My
you know.
locker. I mean, my rent is $850. So, like, so.
I don't know.
But combined, I'm only
Listen, I
paying-
respect. You look great. You look great. You look
It
well.
works.
You look well taken care of. You look pampered. I'm not going to ask how old you are. You can tell if you want.
Oh, I'm gonna be almost 40.
Okay, I'm going to be 42 actually. August 6th. You want to send me a birthday present?
Yeah, an Equinox membership. So I can be there.
An Equinox. Wow, that would be some serious gift there.
That was a big factor in why we decided to join. Was they were saying they would accommodate my bike and I could park it there.
Oh, so this is not a standard accommodation. This is special because you're a VIP or something.
No, I asked them. They said they would do it. I said, here's my money.
You said, if you can accommodate my bike, you got my membership.
Yeah, that's the way I roll.
I'm wondering, you know, what other business owners out there are thinking about that.
And there was another instance where this guy I buy clothes from, he's like, oh, you can store your bike in the back here. When it comes time to shop, guess where I go? I go to his store. I also tell him exactly what I want, and he has it made for me, but like.
All right, listen, you're moving out of this average class. I'm sorry, Chris. I just
No,
want to be clear here, okay?
No, it's cheap. It's not expensive. If it was
Okay.
expensive, I wouldn't buy it.
This shirt is from the Gap, okay?
This shirt was $4.
Let's get back right in here. I think we'll get back to the subject at hand.
Yeah.
Riding bikes around the city. Where are we going here, by the way?
So we're gonna go to Bean and Bean on 26th and 8th. It's
Okay.
kind of my default go-to, especially when we have bikes like these.
Okay.
They're very bike friendly, so I like to go to bike friendly places.
Yeah. Not an advertisement for Bean and Bean. What neighborhood is this? This is
Chelsea.
this is Chelsea?
Yeah, this is like the borderline.
So that's the High Line up there. Really nice walking path. It's a converted railroad that they basically made into like a walking park. Oh, so this is Bean and Bean. So this
Yeah,
is
you can bring your bike in there.
inside.
Oh my God! Hey, Sylvia, how are you?
See, he does have friends. He's got friends everywhere.
And this one's the plain black coffee.
I think you're good there.
Am I?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. I'm not so awkward. Am I blocking Tara?
Yeah, you are.
Are we
Here,
recording?
I can move
right?
over one.
No, no,
and
you,
then, Tara, you sit where I am at.
Cool. All right, well, we're recording. All right, this vlog
Well,
life
after
is. That was cool. I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I don't know how long this video is going to be. That's going to be mostly up to Tara's discretion. But it's probably going to be relatively long. What do you guys think? How long should these things be? Do you want all of it? Do you want most of it? Do you want just the highlights or what? Yeah, let us know if you want to be in one of these in the future. It'd be cool. We're just going to ride around. We're going to do some in New York, do some in California. Eventually, we'll try to do some in other areas. By the way, if you want somebody that spends $400 a month on Equinox to come into your restaurant, let them bring their bike inside. You know? I could probably use a gym membership. Although maybe I just fast and ride my bike. I don't need to go to the gym. I don't know. But
No,
there's
you
certain
need
things.
muscles.
There's certain things. Okay. Chris is telling me. Do I need more? Maybe I need more muscles. I
No,
don't know.
you don't actually.
All right. On that note, we're gonna cut it here and see you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Peace.